Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka G33. I'm back here today with another video on the channel for you guys. Welcome back here to the Legit Shoot podcast, and we're gonna be talking about one thing and one thing only today. We're gonna be talking about the debut of Mercedes Mone, formerly known as Sasha Banks, in New Japan Pro Wrestling. One of the most hyped moments of the year. All right, we're only 4 days into the new year, but one of the most hype returns to the wrestling world has finally happened, and absolutely, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm speechless. I'm pretty speechless. A couple things, I'm gonna try not to make this a 1 hour podcast, because we're literally just gonna talk about Mercedes' return, and how what I felt about it, the presentation, where they go, because there's really a lot to talk about here, and I'm recording this at 7 a.m. in the morning, so I am not a morning person at all. I am a guy that will stay up late to get shit done. You know, uh, Definitely, I'm a guy who likes to wake up late but go to bed late. I hate mornings. If I wake up early, it takes me a good hour or two to get into the zone. But there was no way I was not going to talk about this because I do have to go to work in a little bit. So I wanted to try to get this video out of the way as quick as possible. And you know, I'm expecting there's a chance I might give you guys a double video today because I'm expecting as the day goes on more news about Mercedes and her New Japan appearance and stuff like that will probably come out. So there's a chance I might do another video later today if we get some more news. Remember, Wrestle Kingdom took place at 3 a.m. Eastern time here in the U.S. Right, because Japan's 14 hours ahead of us. So right now it's about it's nighttime over there while we're just getting started with our day, and Wrestle Kingdom as a whole was a great event. I know there were so many people, and before anything, um, there's so many people that this really proves how big a star Mercedes is. It is a little bit weird now that I'm just referring to her as Mercedes because that's her real name, and now she's using that name in New Japan. And we won't be really referring to her as um, Sasha like we did for all those years when she was in WWE. But maybe just gonna be referring to her as Mercedes. And literally, you had people like I don't know how many if we have the stats, but literally, imagine all the people that subscribe to New Japan's streaming service, especially here in the U.S. Right? People that went on the Japanese website and then subscribed to watch Wrestle Kingdom just to see Sasha or Mercedes debut, right? Because it wasn't advertised. It was not advertised. It was reported that was New Japan was bringing her in, but it was not advertised at all. They wanted to make it a special return, special debut, whatever you want to call it. And literally, you had people, up till 3 a.m., not going to sleep, waking up super early just to, see this debut. And it was worth it. It was worth every minute. Um, that's legit star power right there. When you have people literally staying up till 3 a.m., waking up in the dark hours of the nighttime to just watch something like that. That's a true star right there. How many people literally from WWE would you actually stay up that late for to see them debut? Not many. You could probably the number you can count on your fingers, right? And just it's a testament to really what her star power is. And it pisses me off, of course, because yes, I'm so happy for Mercedes and I'm so excited for this new journey that she's on, right? But it just pisses me off that, WWE let her go because they didn't view her. They refused to pay her what she's worth because they didn't view her as a star, like on the level of Becky and Charlotte. When literally, like, if Becky went to New Japan and Charlotte went to New Japan, I don't think, it's getting this type of coverage. Literally, for the last 9 months, everything that's happened with this situation with Mercedes, it has been covered in depth. Every little nugget people make videos on, people are talking about it. She's trending on social media. Any small little information we get, people have been talking about this, and then just to kind of see it reach this conclusion is it's mind blowing. It really is. I literally was speechless when I saw her return, and I made it. For those of you guys who may have saw my stream last night, I took the stream down just because in the middle of the stream my Wi-Fi just decided to have a cancer attack, and I was able to get the Wi-Fi back working, but the stream just wouldn't go back on. Like YouTube just wouldn't reconnect. So I was a little bit angry about that because I felt like that was a wasted stream. But still, now that here we are, 12 hours later, now Mercedes is officially in New Japan. Um, it's absolutely insane. It's insane. And now to get more into the specifics of it, right? I could do a full, if I really wanted to, I could do a full Wrestle Kingdom 17 review, but you know, I'm probably not, just because I mainly just wanted to watch the show to see Mercedes and to see the Kyrie Sane match and of course Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. I'll just quickly say, we've never done a New Japan video. We might have to, especially now that Mercedes is in there. But I will say, Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega was easily uh, match of the year, easily. And we're only 4 days into the new year, but I think it's gonna be tough for any match. Really, just the top what those two did. That was absolutely insane, right? And literally, there was not a lot of build up towards the match. Yes, of course, the history between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay from Wrestle Kingdoms in the past in New Japan. Um, and then of course in AEW when they did have Osprey come to AEW to face the Elite in that amazing six man tag team match they had. Um, but you know, really there wasn't like there wasn't crazy interviews or stuff. Of course they had Kenny Omega make that announcement about a month ago when he said he was coming to Wrestle Kingdom to face Omega or to face Osprey. And then, of course, if you guys saw the press conference yesterday, right, Osprey's promo on Omega was trending all over the place because it was absolutely amazing, and it made you think that Osprey was gonna win the match. But Omega won. He's once again the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. And of course, this is part of a much bigger story. Osprey will eventually get his win back. Um, but those two absolutely killed it. The storytelling, the match itself, those two absolutely killed it. And it's gonna be tough for any match, not just New Japan, but just in the world of wrestling. It's gonna be tough for any match really to top what those two did. Um, but that was great. And of course, let's talk about the big thing, Mercedes' debut. Uh, I want to do like a full reaction video to the match itself, or not the match, to the debut. But in the past, I've gotten copyright strikes. Last time around this time last year, remember when CM Punk made his AEW debut? That was one of my best videos. But that video got striked like 3 or 4 months later. And of course, this is Wrestle Kingdom, one of the biggest wrestling events of the year. Honestly, you could probably say Wrestle Kingdom is the biggest wrestling event of the year outside of WrestleMania here in the states. So I definitely, and a lot of people, there was a lot of people giving warnings on social media saying anybody that posts like any clips or photos um, from the event, their accounts are going to be in danger. So I don't want to risk it. Maybe I'll wait a couple of days and see, how things are, and maybe then I'll do a reaction video. Um, but for now, I'm not gonna do one just because I want to play it safe. But if you guys have been following me on Twitter, I retweeted a lot of different things. There's been so many cool photos. Um, of Mercedes from the event. The revival. They just posted something backstage where you had Mercedes and Pam, aka Bailey. Shout out to Bailey. That's true friendship right there. Bailey was on Monday Night Raw this past Monday, and she left Monday Night Raw immediately to hop on a flight over to Japan to support her best friend Mercedes. That's real friendship right there. Traveling halfway across the world after working to support Sasha. And then of course the revival. You know how close they are with Mercedes and Bailey, and I cannot wait to see definitely now that Mercedes has returned finally to the wrestling world, and knowing the relationship she has with the revival. I know the revival have a podcast. I can't wait to hear those stories. Really, about their time in WWE, stuff that we haven't heard in the past from them, and maybe we'll get some insight, of course, on the creative unhappiness that those individuals had, and then Sasha's walkout in 2018. I'm really hoping we get that type of stuff because I feel like that is super interesting, and of course, that's stuff that we've been waiting years to get. But definitely cannot wait for that. But there's also rumors that Naomi was in Japan supporting Mercedes. There was the report yesterday that came out that Naomi will be returning to WWE from Brian Everez. And of course, I'm happy for Naomi. I would guess that return will probably be safe for the Rumble. And then Naomi can hopefully turn heel and finally join the Bloodline. But still, we'll see what happens there. But there's so many cool photos of Mercedes from her entrance to her backstage. Right, it seemed like she did do a little bit of media, um, and the New Japan Pro Wrestling account has been active all day, of course, because of the event. So, like I said, there's a chance I might do a video later today if we get some more things. 'Cause like I said, a lot of people are gonna be waking up that didn't stay up to watch Wrestle Kingdom, and then they're gonna be seeing that she's back. It's only 7 a.m. here on the East Coast, so people are gonna be waking up later and finally Mercedes is finally back. Sasha Banks is back, in the wrestling world. So definitely, I expect some more news to come out later, which of course I will cover. But you look at there's so many cool photos. The first thing I would say, really, see Mercedes is in amazing shape. I know we haven't seen her in a wrestling ring in 8 9 months, but excuse me. First thing I would say, she is in amazing shape. I know, yes, she's been doing movies, Mandalorian season 3, things of that nature. But first thing, her ring attire tonight was great. Of course, Japanese theme, right? And I'm guessing her husband definitely had a big role in doing that. It feels like it's been so long since we've seen Mercedes in wrestling, gear. It's been so long since we've seen Mercedes in new wrestling gear as well. It's just you forget that she always had the best outfits. Um, but she's in crazy shape. Like usually when someone's been gone for as long as she has, almost a year, right? It takes a while to get back into that wrestling shape. But at the mo at the moment, um, anyway, like I don't know what training she was doing. The last 9 months, of course, I know she was in Mexico and things like that, and of course filming movies. But she looks in dare I say, better shape than she was in WWE. And she was in fantastic shape in WWE, but she looks even better. Like the abs popping out. She looks like added a little bit of muscle. She looks to be in fantastic ring shape, which is amazing to see. But I definitely I have the clip. It's about it was about a 6 minute clip of her debut. It was right after Kyrie Sade's defense of the IWGP Women's Title, and you know I'm gonna play the clip. You guys aren't gonna be able to see on your end. You might just hear some of the audio because I just don't want to risk getting copyrighted. Um, but look, I went through the entire debut, right? It was right after Kyrie Sane's match. Of course, she has new music, right? And I think what was going to be the most interesting thing was going to be um, how different would this be from her Sasha Banks character? The character she's had been playing for basically a decade in WWE, from retirement NXT all the way up to her on the main roster and becoming, a huge star. So uh, And the thing about it is, for being honest, there's not too much. There's not too much of a difference. Definitely. I may do a more in-depth video on this, but Sasha Banks, right? WWE, Mercedes Monet. It feels more like an extension. Just a little bit new music, name change, right? A couple different nicknames, but for the most part, it's very similar to her WWE character. And they did reference that. The New Japan Pro Wrestling commentary team did mention that. I think they said she was like an 8-time singles champion, and like or no, it was like a 7-time singles champion, 8-time tag team champion, which I don't think that's right. But I don't know. They were like counting stuff from like other promotions as well. Because remember, she was Sasha's I believe 7-time singles champion if you count her NXT title reign, right? 5 Raw Women's title reign, 1 SmackDown Women's title reign, the NXT Women's title reign, and 3-time tag team champion. So she's a 10-time champion, but still,
A
I'm gonna
second.
play it.
Boy, talk about rumors.
We're trying to have the volume really low, but you can see. So it's like it's a new music, right? Um, but you can see like on the Titantron, you see like you see a car, somebody walking out, like they're all business, all money, and as the music playing, right, it's showing you like different angles of like, you can't see her face. And then you hear like Monet, right? And it's actually her voice. So now, her voice is actually in the song. Of course, in her WWE theme song, it was Snoop, but now it's her voice. And she's just saying money like every 4 beats. Of course, it's gonna take some time to get used to the theme song. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all, because of course her theme song in WWE is pretty iconic. Both versions of "Sky's the Limit." And of course, I'm gonna miss hearing that theme song. I do think, like I said, I do think there will be a time where Mercedes will return to WWE. It could be this year. It could honestly be this year. But we'll just have to wait and see. Back to the clip itself. So, definitely you see, and then like she makes her appearance. She has boss rings on. It doesn't look like it's the same boss rings she had in WWE. You also have to remember that you got to remember that WWE claims that, they own the trademark for the boss, right? Sasha doesn't own that, right? So that's why she has a new nickname. She's no longer going by the boss outside WWE. She's going by the CEO. So Mercedes has promoted herself from the boss now to the CEO, which is pretty cool. Like I said, it's not a huge difference from her WWE character. And then she makes her reveal, and then like the crowd goes crazy. She got a reaction. You got to remember, the Japanese crowd is different from the American crowd. It's very very different. So getting those big reactions, because in Japan, really, you're taught to, not you know not to yell during the match. It's more clapping, right? Um, you know, they don't really stand up for big moments, until like the end of the match. It's a very respectful attitude that they have. So that is one of the big differences between wrestling crowds in the U.S. and Japanese wrestling. It's one of the reasons why some people actually believe Japanese wrestling is better than American wrestling. But yeah, she Mercedes Monet's her new name. She comes out with this special Japanese robe, red and white. Um, and then she's introduced Mercedes Money. You can see Kairi Sane's in the ring. It's so good to see Kairi Sane. And Kairi Sane is shocked. If you notice, Kairi Sane's actually wearing her one of her WWE attires. I did notice that. And then, it's so cool to finally see this, because this has always been a dream for Sasha. The wrestle in Japan, the wrestle against Kairi Sane in Japan as well. This is something they've talked about for years, and to finally see it happening here, crazy.
Could you have a bigger moment here at the Tokyo Dome?
Oh,
What
I
a
don't
statement.
think you can.
Crazy,
we
man.
have to say
Look at that. You just see like people clapping. It seems like everyone's wearing like a mask in the stands. I don't know what like Japan's like COVID guidelines are. Um, but you just see everyone's wearing a mask, people clapping, people going crazy.
7-time singles champion, 8 times tag team champion in WWE.
So yeah, see, they say 7 times singles champion, 8 time tag team champion. I don't know if you guys can hear. If you guys can't hear, I apologize because I don't. Like I said, I don't want to get any copyright, but it's crazy, man. Mercedes Monet in the Tokyo Dome. That's a moment. That's a moment. How many WWE legends can say that they've been in the Tokyo Dome? Like outside of like Chris Jericho and Moxley, Mercedes joins that list.
Not just the hottest free agent in professional wrestling.
Money! I love the Japanese
Whatever
announcer.
else you want to call it. And in the worst kept secret.
Money. Money.
Indeed, the rumors all true. And Mercedes.
And it seemed like, like as she entered the ring, like her music switched to more like a trap style beat,
Monet has just taken the spotlight from Kyrie. Moments after Kyrie's first defense of the IWGP Women's Championship. I don't think there's any.
And she comes in the ring and she does her pose. She does her, her famous slide pose from WWE as well. It's a little bit different, but it's mainly the same.
Secret about what she's out here.
One of the really cool things, she does have a new wig, right? We all know Mercedes' natural hair is, is brown, blackish, right? But she has a new wig. It's a blue wig, but it's red flames as well. It's like, to me, it's like symbolizing the burning of the old character, right? The death of Sasha Banks. The burning of what she was in WWE, and now her becoming this new version. Now the debut and the emergence of Mercedes Monet. And it'll be interesting. How much does the wig change? Does it eventually become orange? Right? Does he eventually go away from the blue hair entirely, or does he keep it? Does he change it? It'll be very, very interesting. But I love the symbolism there with the wig. That's very, very cool. So she takes off the robe, right? And she has like Japanese text on the back of it. I'm guessing that probably maybe says something like CEO or boss or something. But she takes off the robe and she is in, like I said, her body is stunning. She's in amazing shape. And I forget what, Mercedes is 29, 30 years old now. And she looks better now than she looked, 5 years ago. And remember, she looked amazing back then, but she is in fantastic shape. She got the glitter shining like the CEO she is. Like I said, it's gonna take me a while to get used to calling her CEO and calling her Mercedes, because for so many years you just called her boss and Sasha, right? But Kyrie walks up to her.
History here as well.
Kyrie looks good as well. I just gotta say that Kyrie. It's great to see her in her WWE attire here. But Kyrie looks amazing as well. She holds up the IWGP title. It's crazy because the thing is, Mercedes is shorter than me. Mercedes is like 5'5", right? 5'5", maybe 5'6", but she's, Mercedes is not that big. Like she's not super tall like, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte and Bayley, right? But Kyrie Sane is like a good 2-3 inches shorter than her, and you got to remember here, Mercedes is wearing heels. She is wearing these like big boots, but still, it's crazy.
Who raises the belt.
I'm not used to seeing Mercedes stand over people. Kyrie's like, bring it on, right?
You hear those shots.
So Mercedes then sticks her hand out, kind of like, all right, see you soon. They shake hands, right? And then Mercedes attacks Kyrie Sane, hits her with the the Glory Drop DDT, I believe. If you guys saw the videos of Mercedes training in Mexico, this seems like it could be potentially her new finisher, right? And of course, I've been saying for years that Mercedes should have something outside of the bank statement, which was her submission move for all those years. She always had like the frog splash, and then it looked like she had this code breaker move that she was using in WWE last year. Um, but she's never had really like a signature uh a signature finishing move that wasn't submission. You know, so it looks like this new glory drop DDT is gonna be it. There was a little bit of miscommunication on it because if you've seen the clips, Kyrie's actually supposed to be standing up. Sasha like drops Kyrie down and Kyrie doesn't get up, but Sasha was still able to execute the move. But it would have looked a little bit better if Kyrie was standing up. But you know, it's just a little bit of miscommunication. And I'm expecting, of course, when these two face off at February 18th in San Jose, they'll get the move correctly.
Pro Wrestling magazine in the world.
But I
Well,
love it.
oh, wait a second! Oh no, but Kyrie. trying to
And
position
Mercedes
herself, and
does
she's
the
got
evil
dropped
laugh.
by Mercedes.
That evil laugh that
Monet.
we've missed so much. And she grabs the IWGP Women's title, throws it on Kyrie, and then she asks for a mic. So we get a little bit of a promo here, right?
Kyrie, oh, congratulations on making history tonight.
I don't know if you guys can hear
I also
that.
know a thing or two about making history.
Yes, Mercedes does know about making history. We don't need to run down the list, but WrestleMania main eventer, right? So many first evers in WWE, the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match, and all that good stuff. We know the history that Mercedes has accomplished.
I am here in New Japan and Stardom to make some more.
She says she's here to make
Allow
more
me
history.
to introduce myself.
Allow me to introduce myself. One of my favorite intros from one of my favorite songs, Jay-Z's PSA. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is... Sorry.
I'm the standard.
And she rattles off
The
some of her
Converse-
old nicknames. She says she's the standard. She says she's the blueprint.
Station,
She says she's the conversation.
the blueprint,
I almost thought for a second she was going to say the boss, but she said no, the CEO.
and the CEO of this woman's division.
CEO of this woman's division. Woo. I'm with it. I'm with it.
So, Kyrie-san,
Kyrie-san.
enjoy your IWGP Women's Championship while you can. Because that battle in the Valley in San Jose, I'm gonna leave you bankrupt, bitch. And you can bank on money.
So she says, on February 18th, I'm gonna leave you bankrupt, bitch. You can bank on money. So, like I said, it's basically an extension of her WWE character. Just a couple changes, right? She's calling herself the CEO, Mercedes Money instead of Sasha Banks, right? So she's using, her first name, now her real name, and basically, you can bank on money, right? She used to always say you can bank on that in WWE, but now you can bank on money. And what else did she say? She said, I'm gonna leave you bankrupt, right? And then she said, "Bitch." Every time Mercedes said "bitch" in WWE, it always had a big emphasis. You got to remember here, she did get a good reaction. But remember, like the reactions that you get in New Japan compared to what you get here in the States for WWE and AEW are completely different. It's completely different standards for a wrestling show. So that's one thing you have to understand. You're not gonna get those loud reactions for everything that happens. If this was an American crowd, of course, they would have went wild, but still, like that doesn't hurt it. It's just they do it differently. Like the belt design is completely different than what you expect from here in the states, right? But still, debut was great.
Battle in the Valley,
Debut was
February
great.
18th.
Battle in the Valley in San Jose, I'm gonna leave you bankrupt, bitch. And you can bank. That Battle in the Valley in San Jose, I'm gonna leave you bankrupt, bitch. And you can bank on Monet.
I liked it. They kept it. They kept it simple. She held out the
Have
title.
tickets sold out.
February 18th, Battle in the Valley. And it's
She held
only
out the
10
women's
to
title, and
And
she she
Hey,
left the
in
ring
that
after a
order.
couple minutes, and then they're hyping
Wow.
her up.
has turned into a moment she will.
blowing up as
Yep.
well.
What an incredible moment.
That is that.
Monet.
Mercedes Mone is finally here in New Japan Wrestling. And like I said, I think they executed pretty well. Of course, it could have been done a little bit better, right? I don't know why because in Japan, there's really no such thing as heels and baby faces. Really, they're just wrestlers, right? That's something that's common here in the States. But there's not really this thing of, baby faces and heels. Um, but they try to kind of present her as a heel a little bit. It wasn't like 100% heel, but definitely try to make her be the heel here. And of course, this was Kairi Sane's first defense of the IWGP Women's Title. So we'll see where it goes. I don't know if Mercedes is gonna win February 18th because it is her first match. If I had to take the pick, I probably would pick her, especially since it is gonna be in the States. It's gonna be an American crowd for the most part, and there's gonna be tons of Sasha Banks fans and Mercedes Monet fans there. So definitely that's gonna be interesting to see. But I think that's the stage has already been set. That's going to be the women's wrestling match of the year if they get the time. Um, and this has been a hype match for years. People have been wanting to see this match for years in New Japan, and now it's finally going to happen. And it's going to be the eyes of Japan, and all New Japan's fans are going to be on it. And of course, everyone here in the States is going to be looking for that match as well, since it will be taking place here in San Jose, California. I'm not going to lie. I was looking at flights and tickets earlier, and I'm not saying there's we're still like a month away, but there's a chance maybe I am considering maybe potentially heading over there to San Jose for this event. I've always wanted to go over there to San Fran, so we'll see. But like I said, the debut was done pretty well. And, if I'm being honest, as big as a Mercedes fan I am, uh promos are not her specialty. That's she's a great promo. She is a good promo. I'm not saying she's not at all. But she's always been known as been her in ring work. That's always been her strong suit, right? And her character work, right? So there was a couple logistics of this that could have been a little bit better, right? Of course, the miscommunication on the DDT. The DDT still looked good, but it would look better if of course, Kyrie was standing up. But still, the excitement for this match now just builds. And like I said, as the day goes on, we're gonna hear more about it. And we know that New Japan had to pay a lot of money to get her. Basically, what was the thing going on that they've never paid this amount of money for somebody to come in outside of Chris Jericho. So Mercedes, she's betting on herself here. But the thing is, she bet on herself and she won. She left WWE, the number one company in the world, right, to go bet on herself in New Japan, and make history around the world. And like I said, the viewers, I don't know. I hope we get the numbers later on, but the viewers that she's gonna bring into New Japan because of how big a star she is, from WWE and from other brands across the world, it's crazy. She's definitely a game changer, and definitely I'm so excited for this new run. I do want to mention really quick a couple of other things. Um, New Japan a posted an official welcome to New Japan Pro Wrestling, kind of like AEW says someone is all elite. New Japan posted a graphic of Mercedes. She did a photo shoot. Some of the photos are on their Instagram and their social media. Some of the photos are on her social media, but she looks so good. She looks so good. Uh, there was like a couple photos of her sticking up a middle finger. And there's gonna be even more photos and videos that come out later. I can't wait to see those as well. Sasha posted, you know, uh, this will probably be this might be the thumbnail. But I've been thinking, Loki, what's gonna be the thumbnail of this video? There's so many cool photos. Um, Mercedes posted some photos on her Instagram that definitely I might just do a huge like collage for the thumbnail video. But Bailey posted Monet. Of course, Bailey's there in Japan supporting Mercedes right now. There was something that New Japan posted, like a little uh, looked like she kind of had like a little press conference afterwards, right? And Monet said, and this is translated, I'm interested in many wrestlers, but the reason I decided to fight Kairi Sun in the first place is because we have a pass. February 18th, San Jose, New Japan. I think it will be the best match in Stardom history, so please look forward to it. So, as she said, so please look forward to it. If you've seen anime, that's the way they do their promos. Look forward to it. So definitely, we only gotta wait about a month for Mercedes' official return to the ring, and definitely, I think this is maybe potentially the most hyped women's match in New Japan women's wrestling history. I cannot wait for that. There's a couple other articles about some other wrestlers she wants to face. But like I said, I'm not as knowledgeable in New Japan as I am, of course, with WWE and AEW. But definitely, I'm now more of a fan of New Japan just because of Mercedes being there, and that's the star power that she brings. A legit star, you know. So she brings a lot of firepower out there, and definitely, a lot to be excited and be hyped about. So I'm super excited for this new journey that she's going on, and I'm so happy to be a fan of her and be able to support her. And just it's gonna be amazing. It really is. Uh, Quickly, I want to talk about AEW. Right, so there, Fightful reported that people in AEW believe that Mercedes will most likely be Soraya's partner in that big tag team match against Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter coming up next week on Dynamite. I know we have Dynamite tonight, but next week, January 11th. And that show will also be in San Jose, California as well. So that might be a way just to hype up Mercedes and Kyrie's match since, Mercedes and Kyrie will literally be fighting a month later in that same venue. And if I'm being honest, I do expect it. I did see a lot of people on social media complaining, that they don't want to see her in AEW. But I'm just gonna say this, right? Uh, Literally, shut the hell up, people. Like for real, you guys are the same people like that are going to watch her regardless. Literally, if even if you don't want her there in AEW, right? And I will admit myself, there's a small part of me that is worried about if she goes to AEW, just because I don't think Tony Khan's a good booker, and especially with his booking of the women's division, you know, Mercedes is a star. She's one of the biggest wrestling stars in the world. She's the biggest women's wrestling star in the world, right? She's not going there to be second fiddle. She's not going there not to be treated with a big name attitude. So if she does go to AEW and she does end up being Saraya's partner, like many people believe she is, um, it's like you need to treat her as the star she is, literally, and that would be huge for AEW if they get her. But still, you gotta treat her as a star. You gotta, she's going in there not to, do dumb matches on freaking Rampage. She's going there to face Sarai. She's going there to face Britt Baker, which is the match I think we all want to see. That's a feud I've been dreaming of. She's going there to face Jamie Hayter. She's going there to probably face, Athena. I want to see her, Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is one of my favorite women's wrestlers. I think Mercedes could bring Jade Cargill to that next level that we're waiting for Jade to ascend to. Right? There's matches that we want to see, and she's not going there to waste time. You're going there because you're gonna make her a star. You're gonna build that women's division around her. That's what that women's division has needed. Outside, of course, of Britt Baker, right? And now I guess you could say Jamie Hayter as well. Still, and Tony Storm, but that women's division has not been booked to the potential it needs to be. Not, there has been enough times where we've seen the AEW woman, get the main event, and really get top billing on these pay per views. Mercedes brings that. She brings that. So Tony Khan needs to understand that he's gonna get criticized heavy, and he doesn't know the crew. He doesn't know the crew. For years, we bitched about this in WWE, right? If Tony Khan brings Mercedes in and doesn't use her properly, he's gonna hear about it just as much as he, you think we complain about freaking CM Punk and his interviews and stuff like that, right? You know, the crew, they don't mess around. And if, Tony does not book Mercedes like a star and treat her like a star in AEW, if she ends up there on January 11th, he's going to take criticize. And he has showed so far that he's not the best when it comes to it. I don't think Tony Khan has a backbone. To me, he's like a spoiled rich boy, right? But don't play games with the crew. You do not want that, Mr. Khan. You don't want that at all. So do not play games with the crew. If you're bringing Mercedes in, book her like the star she is. Don't try just to get away with having another big name and then just use her here and there. And even if she's gonna be part time, you can still use her as a star. But I do think it's probably likely that she'll be Soraya's partner. Like if that show was closer on like the East Coast, like in New York, I would probably drive down for that show. I'm not gonna fly to San Jose. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna fly to San Jose just for a Dynamite show, right? What would be cool is if that show was like in February, like the week of Mercedes versus Kyrie Sane. That would be cool. That would be cool. Getting to see that would be awesome. But still, hype for the match itself, and definitely, we'll just have to see where it goes. The last thing I'll say on this is um, I do think I will not leave off the table about Mercedes potentially returning to WWE. Even this year, I do think at some point she will. At some, this is the way we've seen this. Somebody leaves WWE for a couple of years and then they come back as a bigger star. Cody Rhodes did it, right? Even though Cody was there for years and he has the family history, Cody left WWE for what 6, 7 years. Became a bigger star in AEW and around the world, and now he comes back, and now he could potentially be winning the WWE Championship at the main event of WrestleMania in a couple months. I think this is what Mercedes needs to do as well. If I'm not leaving it off the table that Mercedes could return in the Royal Rumble and potentially do something at WrestleMania. I'm telling you, Triple H calls Mercedes and offers her a big contract, right? Gives her the money that Mercedes wants to be paid because we know that she's making that money now. I could definitely see her returning at the Rumble. I think it's more unlikely now, right? Because of the New Japan, and this rebranding. Plus, of course, Mercedes tweeted last night, "Thank you, WWE," basically almost like a goodbye in a way, right? Um, I'm not leaving off the table that she wouldn't come back. I do think she will come back at some point. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year. She could be gone for 2 years, right? We do know, of course, women's wrestlers tend to wrestle a little bit less, or they tend to retire a little bit younger, just because that's the makeup of their bodies. Mercedes is now, she's gonna be 30, coming up. Her birthday's actually at the end of the month, I believe. What January 26th, January 28th is her birthday. Um, so yes, she's not as young as she is. She is entering her early 30s now. Which of course, you know, that's different from a physical standpoint. But Um, remember she hasn't been wrestling in nearly a year. She's been able to take some breaks here and there. So her body's not worn down or anything like that. So I definitely think if she's gone from WWE for 1 or 2 years, right? She's in New Japan, she's in AEW doing some things. Because definitely, if she signs with AEW, she's not signing a long term deal like Moxley and them. She's not doing that, you know. But if she's there in one of those companies, you know, I think it'll be a shorter term deal. And then definitely, I think she can negotiate with WWE. Like, hey, maybe I'll come back for a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam or a Royal Rumble, right? And then down the line, maybe I'll have a one more, big run over there. But it has to be the right story. It has to be, you have to treat me like a star. I'm not coming in to play second fiddle anymore, you know. And like I said, Mercedes is betting on herself, and it's so great to see. And I think WWE will regret, not signing her to that deal, not giving her the money she wants because she wanted to return. She we read the report she wanted to return, but she wanted to be paid like a star, and she deserves to be paid like a star. When WWE didn't budge, it is what it is. But I do think they will come to regret not giving her what she deserves. But still, it is what it is. She will be back one day, in my opinion. If it's not this year at the Rumble, potentially next year in Philly. I am planning to go to that WrestleMania, so that would be amazing. Get to see her come back in Philly. But I do think she will eventually be back in WWE. And, even so, I'm just so excited to see her back in wrestling in general. She is a star, the best women's wrestler in the world. And I'm so excited for this new journey. She's building a new legacy. She's adding a new element to her legacy, going to New Japan as a women's wrestler with her stardom, with her background, and she is going to just do so many big things. I am so excited for her against Kairi Sane. Um, like I said, that's going to be women's match of the year. I already am getting goosebumps. Maybe I'll be there live, but I'm so excited for that match. We'll see if she shows up in AEW next week. But if she does, of course, I'll be here covering that. That will be exciting. But, it is so exciting to have the best women's wrestler in the world back. I'm so excited for this new journey that she's on, and it's gonna be great to see. It really is. And yeah, I will say this: the Legit Shoot podcast is not changing. I know she's probably not gonna be calling herself the Legit Boss anymore. Maybe it'll change to the Legit CEO, but the name of this podcast is not changing anytime soon. But still, I just want to say thank you guys, man, for the support. This is my first official video of 2023. And I'm back. I'm gonna say this with confidence. I am back now. Mercedes is back. I'm back. I'm gonna be probably a lot more consistent with content this year. I miss it. I just have a lot of stuff happening, but it feels good to be back. I'm so excited for this new journey that Mercedes is gonna be on. I can't. I'm just gonna support her all the way. She's doing big things. We know she has movies coming up. We're waiting for the Mandalorian season 3. And then New Japan. This is gonna be her year. She is returning to absolutely shake up the game, and it is absolutely so cool to see. So I just want to say thank you guys once again. Thank you guys for all the support. Like I said, there's a chance I might do another video later on in the day, depending on if we get news about Mercedes Monet. Like I said, Wrestle Kingdom 17 was at 3 a.m. last night, our time. So there's people that are waking up now that are just seeing this that, oh, she actually is officially back. I expect throughout the day people will be giving their reactions. We might hear some stories, and some other things. But she is literally the talk, the conversation, the blueprint, the standard. She's no longer the legit boss. She is the CEO. Mercedes Monet is in New Japan, ready to change up the game, and I'm so excited for it. Other than that, that's about all I got for you guys today. Thank you guys for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. Hit the bell ring. My name is Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Follow me down on social media. Like I said, if we hear any other news about Mercedes or anything like that today, I will make another video. You know, who knows? We have AEW tonight. Maybe Mercedes reveals herself on AEW tonight as Sarai's partner. You never know. But other than that, I will see you guys later. Stay safe and healthy, y'all. Peace.